We want them to parade any farmer in this country who says we are okay with rationalizing UCDA. Just one. All farmers are against it. All traders are against it. You know, when we lost the coffee marketing board, the price went down up to 200 shillings. Ugandans have now been recovering. Coffee is now at 13,000 a kilo. We are at our best. UCDA has given us 82 billion shillings. And yet we had invested only 42 billion. 44 billion. So if you are talking about saving cost, then UCDA is making money. If you are talking about duplication, there is no duplication. If Museveni wants to tell us about duplication, let him first deal with his cabinet. You have a minister for foreign affairs, a minister for regional affairs, you have East African affairs. All these are foreign affairs. And you also have international affairs.
This is Deputy Assistant.
Minister for International Affairs, Foreign Affairs, Regional Cooperation, East Africa. Isn't that duplication? So let him start with his own house and wash it first.
The ministry alone has
let him first combine those ministries so that we know we have only one minister in charge of foreign affairs. Then you can deal with regional, you can East Africa, and the international world. So for us, we believe that there is something hidden. We in the West are now suffering the costs of tea. People had started uprooting tea to plant coffee. Now, you have killed the tea, you are now coming for coffee. It is deliberate because they believe that the poor are easily governed. Once you're poor, they can govern you well. But that the rich are very difficult to govern. So they want all of us poor. It is deliberate. And then he will be coming to give out handouts. Handouts of Bonabaga Gaware, of parish development model. So that he's the only person who gives out money. Parish development model, you hear they say it is Museveni has given us. But Ugandans are hardworking. So, we are here together with my colleagues to speak on behalf of our people in Western Uganda, the farmers, and also to declare that we will be going next week, we will be going to the field again. We shall have a big meeting in Ankole, we shall have another meeting in Chigezi, we shall have another meeting in Rwenzori, we shall have a meeting in Bunyoro, for the farmers to speak out. In Toro also we shall be there. So the farmers speak out. Because the representatives of the farmers who came to the committee, all of them said no. But their no has not been listened to. So let us mobilize the farmers to speak out. So they tell Museveni that you are not legislating for us. What you're bringing is your own idea. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We've come here in solidarity, members of parliament, representing people from Western Uganda. On board, we have members of opposition, we have members of NRM, and we are having a common voice because we are fighting for our farmers. Whether a farmer is an FDC farmer, NRM, or UPC. And the reasons why we are here, we've just come to assure Ugandans, including the President Museveni, who is so greedy, that this time we are not going to accept and sit. Ugandans who are watching us, when President Museveni invited us in caucus as NRM, I was very happy that among the people who were given an opportunity to ask him, Mbwa, the dog barked. And this is the message I told the president. he stood up and said he's going to crush UCDA. And I told him, you know, he likes to use Banyankore proverbs. And I told him the same. I said, Your Excellency, in Banyankore we have a proverb that akuchizire naita sho ahungura nyoko omweta sho. Whoever is older than you can kill your dad, marries your mom, and you still call that person your dad. I said, you're going to crush UCDA, you want to kill us. You want to kill our economy. We shall still respect you as the fountain of honor, the chief of defense forces, but that pain will never go away from our heart. He listened to that. So I've come to assure Ugandans that this time we must extend this war of verbal artilleries if we are to win it. As my colleague has alluded, we must go on ground, mobilize these farmers not to vote even this NRM of mine that is rotting. Which interest does he have in this? Whose interest are they legislating for? Whose will? Who has requested him that coffee farmers are suffering, that they need rescue? I asked even a question. You know, crying more than they believed. You know, I normally train people how to cry. Yes, and if you have a party, you can invite me, a funeral, and I show you. In our culture, if you've lost your dear one, and for you've come as to just say sympathy for the family, you shouldn't cry more than the bereaved family. As they are heightening their voice, for you, you lower little bit. But if yours comes up so much, they get to know that this one is the one who has killed him or her. This is what is happening. For us in Western Uganda, we came and told the president, the prices of tea, we need some rescue. We needed bailout. For us who needed bailout, we've not gotten any bailout. The coffee industry, where we are doing extremely well and we don't need any government intervention, it's where he's showing interest. What a greedy man. No, we cannot accept. I uprooted tea, my 20 acres, I've planted coffee. Now, the same man who has made me to lose money in tea, he's following me up.
In the coffee.
In the coffee. We need to tell Ugandans facts. Let me tell you what you didn't know. In this government of ours, if you came up with a theory and you told my government that, you see, there is a lot of gold in cow dung, the following day, the whole family, the one you know, it will come up, it will put an embargo that nobody should even sell cow dung, even if it is your cow. They will even compel you to look for baskets to make sure that you can tap cow dung because they think it is very lucrative. That's how greedy Mr. Museveni and his team has gone. He killed our cooperatives. Banyankore Kwete and a cooperative. If you think in Western Uganda we don't have coffee, we had Banyankore Kwete and a cooperative. When they came to power, they told Ugandans cooperatives are useless. They killed Honorable Gisu. That was wise. Survived. Now they are saying they want to revamp cooperatives. After killing, selling, eating, and our people are so poor. We are not going to sing the song, Mr. President, we are happy, all the same, we are happy, we are so poor, but all the same, we are happy. No, we're not going to sing that song for you. We cannot be unhappy and sing for you the song that we are happy to appease you. Enough is enough. What you've plundered in this country, I think it is enough to cater for you. Leave our coffee. We don't need your intervention. Please accept the little that you are having. Lastly, I want to caution all the MPs. The time we were crying for tea crisis, only a few MPs from tea growing area spoke and supported the cause. Now I'll tell you, there was this man who was called Martin Moeller in Germany, when there was, you remember the Nazism regime. He said that when they came for communists, I kept silent because I was not a communist. When they came for trade unionists, I couldn't speak because I was not a trade unionist. But when they came for me, nobody spoke because I was only left alone. You remember Hitler had killed every person, but whenever he was killing, this Pastor Martin could keep quiet. But when they came for him to be killed, nobody spoke for him, and he also died. The same applies to us as MPs. If the matter is touching Karamoja, that they are plundering gold of Karamoja, and a member brings the point, even if you are not from Karamoja, let us fight for Ugandans. So now you can see, tea first, few people came to support us. Now they are coming for coffee. Many people are coming on board, but for us we are saying still we are there. And some people are silent because they know they've not planted coffee. The only industry that won't be touched, I assure you Ugandans, it is the animal industry. It won't be touched because the president, the fountain of honor, that is his interest. Have you ever known the reasons why people selling milk, they don't pay taxes? Here in the village, do you know that a person getting matoke from my village, from your plantation, before you pass any trading center, you pay tax? Have you ever seen someone putting a can or a jerrycan of milk, paying that tax? Have you ever known, your journalists go and probe, that every car that ferries milk, the coolers, they have the red and white number plates, they are exempted from tax. What about for us who buy fusos to carry our coffee and matoke? Do we get tax exemptions? Open up your eyes. The country has rotten, and Mr. President, accept us and we take up the mantle as NRM members. You cannot manage anymore.
I think, as you have heard, the writing is on the wall. There wouldn't be much I would add after our two very, very eloquent colleagues. But the only thing I want to emphasize, members of the press, is that this matter of coffee should not be looked at or should not be trivialized, because there are people who are intending or having an intention of trivializing it, and particularly making it appear as if it is a concern of only the Uganda region. This is far from the truth. The issue of coffee is a national matter, as coffee has been a national crop for time immemorial. You will recall really the transition, the time from the time of the destruction of the Coffee Marketing Board and all the processes which have followed since that time. A lot of what of course have gone under the bridge, but right now we are concerned to see that this kind of national economic crop can be disorganized, can be disadvantaged when we are looking on. This will be very, very unfortunate. And I wanted to mainly concern myself with the aspect of the management. We are hearing a lot of talk that the removal of UCDA is aimed at, cutting costs, making sure that the costs in terms of staff salaries, staff costs, and so on and so forth are kept to the minimum. But in any process, there is what we call the trade-offs. You trade off the factors which led to the creation of UCDA have not gone away. Why was UCDA created? UCDA was created because the Ministry of Agriculture or the Ministry of Cooperatives, Trade and Market at that time didn't have the capacity to undertake the functions what UCDA has been undertaking. There was too much on its plate. And the same goes actually for all these other MDS which Parliament is rationalizing. Take, for example, UNRWA. When UNRWA was formed, before UNRWA, there was what we used to call the Road Unit Formation Unit. That was formed around 1995, 96, 97. I was working in the Ministry of Works. And I knew very well what capacity the Ministry of Works had to look after our roads. It was limited. And that's how government decided to delegate this function to first RAFU and eventually around 2006, UNRWA. And since that time, UNRWA has done a good job. You cannot tell me that UNRWA has not done a good job. UNRWA has done a good job. And in the view of most of us, it should stay. But because there is the emperor who has decreed that UNRWA must be, decentralized again, that it's going to happen. So the issue of recentralizing UCDA should be looked at in the perspective of the capacity of the Ministry of Agriculture to run these functions. Some of us, we think that most of these ministries are sick. These ministries are sick. These ministries, there is a lot of operational malaise. They say
80% of the members who signed the minority report were from different parts of the country. And to mention, the former leader of opposition, that is Honorable Betty Achan, that she's from the north. Honorable Isodo Stella, she's from the east. Honorable Asanta Okot, she's from the north. Honorable Nyakata Sinas is from Bunyoro. And Honorable John Mpalanyi and Honorable Matov Charles, only 2 members were from Buganda. And you should also know that this report, and most of these members are members from the other side of the ruling party. Majority members of on the Committee of Agriculture just saw the fear that they cannot come out and stand against their party position, because it was very clear in the committee that they have to abide by the party position, by the cabinet position, and that is to take UCDA the way it is. Members of the public should also know that most of the stakeholders who appeared before the committee and representing the 12.5 million Ugandans all said no to taking back UCDA into the mother ministry. And among the stakeholders who appeared before the committee was the Buganda Parliamentary Caucus. We had stakeholders from Buganda Kingdom. We had stakeholders from Bunyoro. Those were the Coffee Growers Association, Bunyoro. We had the farmers from Kanungu, Masaka Coffee Growers, West Nile, Northern Uganda. We had the Bugisu Cooperative Union, but also Bugisu Parliamentary Caucus. We also had a number of stakeholders, individual. All these ones, they were a representative of the 12.5 million Ugandans. They overwhelmingly said no. So what I expected from the main report of the committee was to respect the views of the stakeholders who appeared before the committee to represent the 12.5 million Ugandans. So we, being a people-centered parliament, Uganda parliament, we did not report exactly what the views of these 12.5 million people, farmers, coffee farmers, spoke. And this is against the will of Ugandans. Being a people-centered parliament, but also reporting otherwise. So the report that the committee came up with was just a table report. It was not a reflection of the views that the majority, 12.5 million Ugandans, did speak. I also want to call upon the public to join your members of parliament in demanding the rejection of the UCDA rejection. Someone asked that you people, why Bunyoro you don't plant coffee? Bunyoro you don't plant coffee. For us, we have been, initially we used to plant cotton. when the government started underfunding it, people gave up with cotton. We went to tobacco farming. Our farmers have been cheated every other day. We were fishermen. On the lake now we can no longer fish. We can no longer fish. The military has taken over all the lakes. But all this under the Ministry of Agriculture's supervision. The Ministry of Agriculture should know that they have failed to perform their work efficiently and effectively. As we speak today, just early this year, we saw the Ministry of Agriculture giving out tractors without plows, others without the engines, and others without handlers. This working tractor that they gave out never had handlers. We have seen the Ministry of Agriculture fail to manage the fisheries sector. They have given it out to the army. They have given it up to the UPDF to take over the lakes. We as Parliament, we did make a resolution here for the Ministry to go and come up with the Aquaculture and Fisheries Act regulation. Up to now, they have failed to come up with a regulation. We did recommend they come up with the tea policy. The Ministry of Agriculture up to now, we have very many petitions in Parliament of farmers, of tea, tobacco. Western alone has over 5,000 farmers who are cheated by Nima Tobacco, by Continental Company, and all this is under the ministry, being under the Ministry of Agriculture. Today, our maize, our rice cannot cross the borders of Kenya, cannot cross the borders of Tanzania. Our chicken, it cannot cross all those borders of our neighboring countries where we are talking about common market, we are in the East African integration. And under the supervision of Ministry of Agriculture, they are very silent. Just last year, we saw our maize, the kawunga, being poured when it was crossing over the borders of South Sudan. They were saying it is full of aflatoxins. And the Ministry of Agriculture is all seated, very comfortable, seeing farmers suffering, seeing traders suffering. They cannot stand out and speak for themselves. Today, the rest of Tanzania, in Hoima, it can reach up to the stores of a local businessman, door to door selling. Even the rest of Tanzania is cheaper than ours here. So our farmers have decided to lower the prices of theirs so that the one of Tanzania doesn't outcompete them. Being that ineffective, then again you call a ministry, an agency like this, Uganda Coffee Development Authority, to also come, you kill it. Members, what we should know is the main objective of this bill here is the Uganda Coffee Development Authority Bill 2024 is to kill, to remove, to abolish, to scrap off UCDA. And of course, when you kill someone, you cannot say that you are transferring the roles of the dead body to the what? To the mother ministry. You cannot transfer the roles of the dead body to the mother ministry. For instance, if I'm a member of Parliament today and I died, my child who inherits me cannot do my work. So that's where we are heading. We are seeing UCDA going to be killed, and totally they bury it just because for them they are just looking at saving costs. They are looking about ineffectiveness, but yet themselves they have failed. Finally, Ugandans, wherever you are, we request you to join hands, your voices, so that we speak the same voice against the taking up of this UCDA into the main ministry.
Thank you very much. I want to just add one thing and we conclude. And then you ask questions. President Museveni invited some members to State House. You rejected this bill a few months ago. What has changed? For Museveni to say that those who are for Ugandans, our colleagues, what has changed? They are going to Chisozi on Friday with coffee, UCDA. Ugandans are watching. I want to advise our colleagues who are going to Chisozi. Rather than go to Chisozi to kill coffee, go and tell President Museveni from his home in Chisozi that Ugandans are against this move. Ugandans are not happy. And you see, we speak for the farmers, and I had talked about it. I want you to ask those who are supporting, who are they speaking for? Because you cannot legislate for Museveni. That because Museveni doesn't want it. Can you imagine? It's the only reason. That Museveni doesn't want it. So what? Is he a coffee farmer? Because for me, I speak for farmers. Who is Museveni speaking for?
When members have rejected this, it is detrimental. We are going into campaigns, including yourself. They are not saying they are postponing it, they are giving it 3 years in faith. No, they want immediately after elections. That's when they want to take it away. Because members are scared that the attrition rate now, if we are to say we just close it, we kill it, now, few will come back.
Many funerals.
Many funerals. We shall buy the coffins, we shall prepare
Many political
But
funerals.
I'm telling you. So that is the reason. Don't be excited that they've given 3 years for transition.
No.
Why not other entities? That's what we agreed in caucus.
Thank you very much, Umbwa.
And I'm telling you, you are members of the media, you are members of the press, you know what the casualty rate was among this group.
Including Nankabirwa.
You see?
Who used to tell them they are going to help us if we touch.
If we touch. The casualty rate was so high. So, we have a saying in Bunyoro that if those who have ears, let them hear. Those who don't have, it is up to them. But it is wiser to do the right thing, other than to do the wrong thing simply because you are fearing for the outcome. That's what I would like to comment on that.
Muruganda.
We have Umbwa here, he will talk most of the issues.
Tuli wano ng'ababaka kwogera ku nsonga za UCDA. Kubanga fe mu Western Uganda, specifically nze Owankole, tulinayo emwanyi mungi nyingi ekale. So ate nze ng'omuntu ndi mulimi, n'olwekyo tuze wano kubagamba nti ffe twogerera abalimi, naye abagamba nti UCDA egende boogerera ani? Tuli wano kubagamba nti ffe teri agenda kututiisatiisa nti kubanga munene mu gavumenti oba ki, kubanga ffe abaatuleeta mu palamenti si banene ba gavumenti, bantu ba bulijjo, ate abangi babawo ku lw'omwanyi. Ekyokubiri, tuli wano kubagamba nti tugenda mu Western Uganda ffe tubeere n'olukungaana buli district, buli region, nga twogera n'abalimi, twogere ku nsonga z'omwanyi gwaffe. Tuli wano kubagamba nti abagenda Kisozi nabo mubagambe nti bwe bagenda eyo babuulire muzeeyi ekituufu, bamugambe nti kino ekigenda mu maaso political suicide,
economic suicide.
bamugambe nti bannayuganda bonna bagamba nti omwanyi temugukwatako. N'olwekyo muzeeyi aveeyo abuulire eggwanga. Abalimi bwe baganye, abasuubuzi ne bagaana, cooperatives ne zigaana, yayogerera ani? Ebintu byonna ebirimu ssente mu ggwanga lyaffe byonna babitute. Bwe bawulira nti eno waliyo amafuta bagendayo, gold yaabwe. Kati bawulidde nti omwanyi gufunye ssente nagwo baguyingidde. So tuli wano kumugamba oyo muzeeyi nti ffe teri atuwadde ssente twogere naye abantu kitukakatako ng'abakulembeze. Nga nze omunakatuliki ow'e Roma sijja kusirika nga ndaba nti ekituufu nkimanyi. So So tuli wano kuburira bana Uganda nti ffe tujja kulwana tulabe nti omwanyi gwaffe tugusevinga. No, that's all.
Bantu baffe abatulaba banna Uganda, ekisooka tuzze wano okutangaaza ensi nti abalowooza nti ffe abantu abava mu bwamwanyi oba tetulina interest mu mwanyi oba twakiriziganyiza n'omukulu President Museveni okwagala okutubbako ekyobugagga bwaffe akyezze ne famire ye, ekyo twagala kutangaaza ensi tetukiriimu era tetukiwagira. Nafuna omukisa kokasa okuva lwe ekisanja kino n'akagendayo omulundi gumu era nagendayo ku lw'emmwanyi. Yatera nnyo President atera nnyo okubeera n'olugero nti nantabuulirirwa yasaabalira mu ly'ebbumba. Kati amazima ga Katonda mu ggulu omusajja alina enkasi ali mu kebbumba alowooza avulumula eryato naye nga ssaawa yonna ng'Abannayuganda taabalimi atutta atumalawo. Nagamba President ne mugamba Abanyankole balina olugero nti omuntu yenna kasita aba akusingako asobola kutta taatawo oba kitaawo n'addamu n'awasa maamawo ate n'omuyita taata. Kakati kye kimu namugamba nti sebo ogenda kutta emmwanyi zaffe kubanga tukutya nga fountain of honor ng'omukulu akulira eggwanga. Tujja sigala tugamba yes president naye nnyiike tuli ku mitima ssebo y'amaanyi nnyo. Nolwekyo teri ngeri yonna president gy'alina okulimba ensi nti alumirirwa emmwanyi talina. Njagala mukitegeere kyasinga okulumirirwa nte bwemba temukitegeerangako. Ffe abalimi b'amajaani twavaayo ne tukaaba ssaawa zino amajaani gakyali ku nusu ebibiri ne tusaba gavumenti mwalaba nga tukaayana. Naye president gavumenti tevangayo n'okutuwa n'ejjiiko lya fertilizer tugende tuteeke mu majaani gaffe. Kaakati sebo mwami mulugube obuvumu obujjawa okugamba nti oyagala kujja otaase ab'emmwanyi gye tufuna obulungi nga tetukuyitangako tetwagala na buyambi bwo ssebo naye nga tosobola kujja mu majaani olowooza ani yandyetaaza obuyambi ssebo bw'obanga oyagala kukaaba osinge ffe abafiiriddwa si gwe oba ossa omuntu oyo mufu era twakutegedde gundi twakutegedde nti ekigendereddwa kyo ekintu kyonna kye mulowooza mu nsi nti kya bugagga mwagala kukyezza. Mwamumwizu kyayogedde ku kya gold olwo nali nkiikirire mubende bwe bayingirira constituency ya Nsamba ne bakwata abanansi ne babajja mu gold ne batandika okulima. Si basoda abaliyo soda omuganda wo si be basodo abali mu kusima gold abanansi babakanyuge bweru. Kakati na kino president tukimanyi bulungi nnyo gwe wajja watta cooperative including Banyankole kweterana union eyali amaanyi ng'esinga n'ebugisu. Abeebugisu bakutegeera ne bagaana cooperative yaabwe ekyakolera ddala bulungi era tebalina bizibu. Kati gwe ng'omaze ogita wagamba toyagala gizza engulu sebo oli ku mulambo ogukuba empiso ogutadde oxygen guli mu intensive care ng'oyagala kuguzza engulu tokyakisobola. Nolwekyo Bannayuganda njagala mutegeere nti bano ababaka ababalimbalimba nti abamu balina okutya batya President Museveni tebagala mubuulira kituufu. Abo babaka kasita akugamba atyo omubuulira oyo abeera mu buyabuya kubanga omubaka alina okwogera ekituufu. Nolwekyo tusazeewo tujja kukunga Bannayuganda tujja tutandika wiiki ejja tutalage ensi yonna mu Western Uganda tubuulire abantu ensonga eno ate ffe tuli ku kituufu. President teri yakugambye n'ababaka abali mu kulimba nti tukiwagira era abeewo mbabuulire baatulekawo mutogikwatako nga balowooza nti tetugenda kudda kubanga twagaana nga tuleeta ebirowoozo by'abantu weetuli era tukyaliwo naye ssebo president genda mu nte ozinako obukugu ate nga mpunzika bannayuganda njagala mukitegeere nti omuntu singa ojja n'olimba ensi yaffe eno n'olimba president nti mu busa bw'ente mulabiseemu ekyobugagga ekyakabi aga katonda bajja kukeera nti obusa bwonna tewabawo abukwata obuggwanga waliwo abufunidde ettenda babawe n'ebidomola ente mulina ozitega nga zipama buggwawo babutwale yensi bwetuuse wetumaze otutuuka ng'abannayuganda mukama bampeera omukisa naye ku luno tojja tusobola tufiirawo bwe twali mu kokasi sekuritale jeno bwe yaraba ababaka bonna bakayanye ng'amaze okwogera ne bakuba mu ngalo pulezidenti yagwa shock kati namugamba pulezidenti bano bye bakubuulira kasita okkiriza nti emmwanyi ozimajinge tebagenda kudda tugenda mu kalulu naawe ogenda mu kalulu kati pulezidenti wange mu kutya okungi ng'alowooza ayagala kutaasa ababaka kwe kusalawo nti kakati tusooke tukisembezeeyo emyaka 3 tusooke tumalirize akalulu bwe tunaakomawo kubanga yakimanyi tayagalangako ababaka okukomawo bonna era tusabira obutadda kubanga tuba twamutegedde kati bwe banaakomawo abapya oba tuzze oba tetuzze abakwatiraawo akiyingize nokyo tebaawadde emyaka 3 nti mu mutima omulungi kwetaasa akalulu katutwala emisolo kituufu nti pulezidenti Museveni obusosoze tuzze nga tubulaba mu ngeri gye tulima n'okulunda mwe abatulaba bannayuganda mumpe ensonga nti lwaki ente abalunzi b'ente bw'akwata amata n'agateeka ku kidomolo oba ku kaani ng'ayisa mu katawuni akeewammwe tasasulangako n'omusolo yadde nusu 10 bano ababeera n'obutikiti nga bajjako omusolo gwa loko gavumenti lwaki owange bw'akwata ettooke n'aliteeka ku gaali n'ayita ishaka mu kasenta wasookera okutuuka oba n'ateeka ku katale bamukubira tiketi bamuggyeko omusolo lwaki omusolo guli selective ekirala motoka ezitwala amata njagala ogenda obitunuulira ebimoloka ebyo byonna birina enamba emyufu nga mulimu ne red zetuyita nti ziri tax exempted tezisasula misolo okijja bweru nga bwe kiri bwe kiba kya miliyoni 4 oba miliyoni 10 kijjira ku 10 tekiwa musolo no kakati mbuuze mwe bemulowooza nti pulezidenti abaagala nnyo nze bwe ngula fuso nga yakutwala amatooke gange oba amajaani nakyo nga kyattunzi lwaki yo tebajja exempting omusolo kati njagala mutegeere ndife tuli mukanikira abavuzi mu ggwanga yatwerabira ayagala okwetaasa ndowooza lunde ente baliwo okutwavuwaza taasa nga ndabye nusu 2 nze embwa tekamwa ompe nusu 2 ate oyo onapulakinga onanoga omuwa 15 ninga salawo nenga kuula baganda bange nemanya nti kaneetaase omusajja ono pulezidenti engeri gyatutayiza eno atwavuwaza alyoka atufuga obulungi atukalakati kanveeyo kangende mu mwanyi maze okulima emmwanyi zange ntaddemu ssente ntaddemu ebijjumisa nkoze buli kimu katonda mugula omusajja omulugube anombye asiikanye eno ayagala kuntwalako ebyange tetujja kukkiriza waliwo omusajja bali bamuyita kisa kya gundi oba kyaki wetutuuse mujja tusinkana ku street nga tutambula nga tuli bute tugenda kubeera bavuzo nto tuyinza kutwavuwaza abantu abaali bagagga gwe n'osigaza abantu akakunda akamu bwe kati nga ke kagagga kokka tetujja kukkiriza
Bannayuganda bamanye namwe abanamawulire kiri nti repoota ey'abatono yasayiningibwa 8-10 ababaka abo tebali ba Buganda. Omubaka asooka nga shadow ministers enve waffe Bunyoro Nyakatasi Nancy. Omubaka addako Wekasese Honorable Florence woman member of parliament. Omulala yali Honorable Isodo oyo Wateso. Honorable Achan Awol Betty oyo Munozana. Honorable Santa Okot naye Munozana. Nwabeerawo n'abaganda bafa 2 abava wano mu Central. Kati abagezako kugamba nti kino ekintu kya Buganda yokka balimba. Kuviira ddala ku committee it was a regional thing. Lukwa ababaka bonna abasinga bagamba nedda abantu baffe kati bazze mu kulima omwanyi, omwanyi guno bagufunamu nnyo. Ewaffe Bunyoro tulabye UCDA ng'esomesa abantu paka kutuukira ddala ku kyalo. ebasomesa omwanyi ogusimba otya kuvira ddala ku nasale ospacinga otya ogufuuyirira otya ogulabirira otya kulaba nti gutuukira ddala ku mutindo. Abantu bonna abajja ku komiti kukiikirira emiliyoni 12.5 aba stakeholders walimu ba processors, walimu ba farmers, walimu abananyini factories, walimu n'aba businessmen abagusuubula. Bonna bagamba nedda UCDA sigale. Ate mu abo walimu Buganda Parliamentary Caucus, ne wabeerawo stakeholders abava mu Buganda Kingdom, Bunyoro Coffee Farmers, Ankole Coffee Farmers, West Nile Coffee Farmers, Northern Coffee Farmers, Kanungu, Buhweju, Bugisu Cooperative Union, n'aba individual stakeholders bajira omu bonna abalimi b'omwanyi ne bagamba nedda kusinzira UCDA kyetusizaawo in terms of amagoba kuma omutindo kufuba nti kulaba nti akatale kaffe kabeerawo 24/7 budde bunekero y'omwanyi egula wakati w'omutwalo gumu kitundu kiboko etanasusulwa eri wakati wa 15 nusu kanana batugamba UCDA nga tenajja abantu babadondolanga omwanyi nga bamugula ku nusu 2 3 100 bakuguza nnyo 8 kati tulaba nti UCDA bwe naavaawo tugenda kudda mu mbeera eri y'okubeera nga abasuubuzi abalimi tebali sure of the market. Tugenda kulaba nga omusuubuzi bajja bakudondola bakugulira ku mwendo gwe bagadde. Tugenda kulaba abasuubuzi baffe abadde atunda omwanyi mutwalo gumu kitundu nga bamusuubula nusu 2 3. Tugenda kulaba individuals monopolism in the sector of the mu subsector ya coffee nga bafuna omuntu omunga peneti ajja abasuubula amala abasuubula ne basiba obutale ne bagulawo nga bamaze okola kikusuubula abantu nga bwe tuze tulaba ku miwendo gya kasooli, miwendo gy'omuceeri, emiwendo gya taaba, emiwendo gya bikajjo ne vanilla. Kati tugamba nti ekisooka Ministry ya Agriculture terina busobozi obusobola ku managing kino ekibiina kya Coffee Development Authority. Ministry ya Agriculture yennyini gye mulabe eremereddwa mu fisheries, amagye galese geefuge ku nyanja, abavubi tebakyasobola kuvuba, abantu baffe babakwata bulijjo babakuba, olusi bababuzaawo, abamu bafunye ebiwuta ne bafuna ebiwundu permanent disability lwokuba amagye bano kubeera ku nyanja. Naye byonna ebyo bisupervising wa Ministry of Agriculture. Abalimi beetaaba ffe ebunyolo twalimanga pamba naye kuva bagijjako ne balekawo giteekamu sente ne tudda mu taaba. Abalimi baffe bulijjo babanyaga. Tulina ekitongole bakiyita ni Mataba Continental. Banyagako abalimi baffe over thousands of tobacco farmers. Budde bono bwetwogerera tulina petitions nyingi nnyo kuva West Nile. Abalimi beetaaba babanyaga. Now it is coming to 8 years. Ministry of Agriculture ekimanyiiko esirise. Tulina abalimi b'amajjaani petitions tetusobola nazibala. Betomboyita banyagibwa individuals zino baba bajja ba investors bano bakola MOUs ne government bamanyi bulungi nnyo Ministry of Trade, Ministry of Agriculture naye esirise tesobola kuyamba mulimi. Mulabye Muganda bangagamba yalima amajjani naye atukusa n'ogakola ki gakula. Abalimi b'ebikajjo tale yabeeranga ku 25 ku 30 budde buno eri ku 6 kitundu naye Ministry of Agriculture is the one which is managing. Abalimi baffe bagenda ne batugamba tulime vanilla, moringa, aloe vera byonna ne babirima naye nga bamaze obirima akatale ne kakola ki ne kalema. Bani abalema okubaweereza akatale Ministry of Agriculture. Abantu ne baddawo ne batema moringa, ne batema vanilla, ne batema aloe vera ne baddira ddala ku zero. Kati babadde bagambye kati katudde mu mwanyi okuba akatale tulashuwadi nti kakoze eki kaliwo. Ate obulungi bwa UCDA kasite emanya nti olinako ekayo y'omwanyi nga bali ashuwadiro nti bagije ne bagirambula gyeri bakuwa ne sente nga tonakungula. Bw'omala kungula nga gwe ne school fees wasasula dda kyoyagala wamala kifuna naye ne bagenda ne bajjayo omwani wa ku kyoma. Kyetubuuza gavumenti lwaki eri mu bwangu nnyo olwokulaba nti ebbiro etteeka lino liyitawo mu bulungi n'omu bubi. Kyetubuuza gavumenti ne palamenti y'eggwanga nti palamenti egenda koma ne palamenti y'okumi ekirala kyetubuuza gavumenti kiri nti singa tetuyisawo etteeka lino gavumenti egenda kufa leero egenda kugwa. Tusaba Abannayuganda mwena gye muli tubakunga muteeke ababaka bamwe ku nninga. Bakansalazi bwe mwalonda abakulembeze bonna bwe mwalonda mubateeke ku nninga basobole okuyimirira ne miliyoni 12 kitundu egiwangalidde mu bulimi mu mwanyi ezisobodde okusomesa abaana mu mwanyi ne basobola okugagawala mu mwanyi. Budde buno omwanyi gw'eggwanga 65% in the whole world. Uganda yokka yetunda 65% to European Union. Lwaki? Okuba omwanyi gwaffe guli ku mutindo. Omwanyi gwaffe mulungi nnyo, gulina akawawo akalungi nnyo. Ku lwa UCDA twasobola okutuuka ku kifo kya number 2 mu Africa yonna. Number 7 in the whole world in terms of omwanyi omulungi ogw'omuti oguli ku mutindo. Omwanyi omulungi ogw'akawawo akalungi. Lwaki? Bino byonna bikoleddwa UCDA. Kati UCDA ng'emaze okukola, emaze otutuusa ku level eyo yonna worldwide but also at continental level. Tusaba gavumenti ensonga y'omwanyi egiveeko. Tusaba gavumenti ewulirize abalimi emiliyoni 12.5. Tusaba gavumenti ewulirize ne parliament ewulirize abo abagironda. Tugamba we people centered parliament. Lwaki tuwuliriza abalimi emiliyoni 12.5 ejjaja ne gigamba nedda abantu baffe bagambye banange UCDA mugireke. Tusaba mukunge tugenda tambula ffe nga yo Western Uganda kunga abantu baffe Bunyoro tujja, Ankole tujja, Rwenzori tujja, Toro tujja, Rwenzori tujja, wiki ejja tugenda kujja musobole okutuweereza ebirowoozo byamwe ku nsonga eno.
Bagamba nti n'okugenda ku record nti fenga Bunyoro tuwagira echa Uganda Coffee Development Authority kubeerawo era kubanga okubeera nga weeri nga tejiddwawo kubanga tumanyi bulungi abantu baffe bamanyi bulungi wajje bajje twalina unions 2 mu Bunyoro the whole of region kuvira ddala Kiryandongo paka Muhoro Muzizi River ku border ne Kabarole esooka nga Bunyoro Growers Cooperative Union neyo kubiri nga tujita Kitara Growers Cooperative Union. Unions nebiri zakola kinene nnyo mu kuzimba eyo enima n'endabirira n'entunda y'emmwanyi mu region. Nezino zezasooka unions zezasooka okusanyizibwawo. President Milton Obote uyavira mu buyiiza mwaka 1995 nga eggwanga lyaffe nga liri waggulu nnyo mu kukola ki mu kutunda emmwanyi ne sente katufuna sente nyingi kuva mu mmwanyi naye mumanyi nti ebyaddirira wakati awo unions zonna nga zisanyizibwawo ebizimbe nga bimenyese emmotoka bazitutte emmwanyi nezikola ki nezivaawo abantu ne badda mu bwavu ensi n'ekyankalanya naye kati wetuvudde Uganda Coffee Development Authority yebadde tujjeyo yebadde ejjeyo abantu naddala mu bitundu awalimbibwa emmwanyi ng'ekoze kinene tetusobola n'olwekyo kubanga tulaba bwe tuti nga Uganda Coffee Development Authority ejjibwawo mu ngeri etetegerekeka. So n'olwekyo abantu baffe tebawagira era nga bwe muwulidde tugenda kutalaaga tumuvinge tubulire abantu ku nsonga eno n'oluvannyuma tulabe ffe nga bwe tubagambye twewaddeyo tujja kuyimirira ku magulu gaffe abiri tulwanirire UCDA ate tulabe nga UCDA tevaawo. Mwebale nnyo.